Hi, my name is Stef Skills, and I'm an artist, educator, and activist living in Chicago. I have been teaching art for 25 years, and I've been creating street art and murals for over 30 years. Today, I'm going to go over a brief history in the evolution of graffiti art and show you how to add these styles to denim jackets and other fabrics. The art of style writing evolved out of graffiti tags that became fancier and painted on subway trains in the 70s and 80s. Graffiti art transitioned to the streets with fuller outlines known as throwies, and later to fill-ins, which are throwies that are filled with color. Before we get started, you'll need a board or cardboard to wrap the jacket or fabric around to hold it in place. You'll then tape off the area you want to paint with painter's tape or masking tape. Now we can begin priming the area with a mix of white acrylic paint and fabric medium. For best results, please read the instructions on the fabric medium bottle. I'm going to give a brief lesson of how to build bubble letters from plain script and transfer these designs with carbon paper onto fabric. First, map out the area with paper. The size of my denim jacket panel is about 2 sheets of paper that I have taped together. I'm writing my script in all capitals, evenly spaced across the paper. And then I will build bubble styles around my script. You can do this to any words or phrases that you want to illustrate on your fabric or jacket. Okay, so now that I have my bubble outline, I've gone around my basic script with these bubble letters. I've fattened out the letters. I've pumped air into them and I've bubbled them up. And when I pump air, these negative spaces, or what we call windows in the letters, are going to be very small. So I'm going to do these teeny little windows in all my letters that have windows. And they're little because I've pumped the letters with so much air that the negative space is gone. And you don't mind if when you do the bubble letters, they touch each other, because that's where the magic happens and it becomes more like graffiti. This is the style writing bubble letter style, and this is how you can build plain script letters, all capitals, into bubble letters. First, I'm going to prime the area of the jacket with white acrylic paint. I mix the fabric medium with the paint to soften the paint so that when it is dry, it will not be so stiff and crack on the fabric. A 1-to-1 ratio is recommended for the mix, but you can use a little bit less or how you see fit. I tape off the area of the jacket and begin priming the fabric. I will heat set the primer layer with a blow dryer before I begin sketching or transferring my design onto the jacket. Because I'm well versed in my own style, I am able to draw my design directly on the jacket with a marker. I will show you later how to transfer design onto the primed fabric with carbon paper. I'm going to start by adding a touch of spray paint to the sky area of my design to give an effect of a sunset. I'm using a little bit of mint and peach. If you use some spray paint in painting your panel, make sure you're in a well-ventilated area or outdoors. And keep in mind that if you don't have any around the house, you may have to travel to the suburbs to purchase. My design includes a sunset, a skyline, a classic B-girl character beneath the L tracks. She's a woman on the go that sees her style reflected in her glasses wherever she travels. I'm going to paint the L train gray, the skyline blue, her hat pink for contrast, and her hair aqua. I'm heat setting all of these colors with a blow dryer as I change the colors. I am also always remembering to add the fabric medium as I go. I use contrasting colors in my design so that the character can stand out in front of the scenery. The design I'm working with is my own style of character that I have used in many different mediums such as murals, stickers, t-shirts, and pottery. This helps my style to be recognized as a brand. I add more details to the earrings, face, train, city, and skyline. Usually the smaller the details, the smaller the brush I use. I also add colors to the sky. I am always making sure to add fabric medium to my paints and heat set with a hairdryer. At this point, I decide to finish the details and highlights of my jacket design with the use of paint markers. Paint markers are also an integral part of graffiti art applications. I choose a black paint marker to outline most of my design and to add rivets to the L tracks, and I use a white paint marker for highlights, which are also referred to as shines. Here is the finished image of what I painted directly to the back panel of the denim jacket. Now I'm going to show you how to transfer the bubble letter design to a fabric separate of the jacket that can be painted and pinned on any other jacket you may want to add a design or message to. All right, so now I've got the carbon paper on top of my taped off primed area with the primer and the fabric medium. I'll make sure it's in there. Won't be perfect, but this is if you need a little guidance on transferring your design. You can get some carbon paper from Michael's for about $4, and this will help you transfer your sketch or your drawing to, I might want to use, I'm using a stylus. If you don't have a stylus, that's fine. A ballpoint pen is good, or a really sharp color pencil you can use. So I'm going around here, and that's how we're going to transfer our design. A couple places missing right here, and I can just add those in there with my marker. So I'm going to paint over them, but basically not too shabby. Got my design. Now I can paint it in and do, I'm going to do a color fill-in. That means I'm going to go across with one color, down the middle with another color, and finish at the bottom of the color. And then I'm going to add a shadow and some background. Now that I'm done with my jacket design, I'm going to finish filling in the bubble letters on the fabric panel we started earlier. For my fill-in colors, I've chosen red, orange, yellow, and fluorescent green. I start the tops and bottoms of my letter design with red, filling in horizontal stripes throughout the letters. The next stripes are orange and yellow. I finish with the green in the middle of my layout. The fluorescent green is extremely transparent, and the quality is thin, especially when fabric medium is added. The fill-in style I chose is called a multicolor fade. It gives the appearance of colors fading into each other, similar to a sunrise or sunset. I outline the letters with a black paint marker and a thicker shadow to one side to add contrast. I also add some drips and details to my shadows. The drips are to represent that my design is so fresh that it's still wet. I also add some white highlights to the letters on the opposite side of my black shadows. I finish with a purple paint marker and a final outline and bubbles. This is known as a force field or an aura, all the while keeping in mind to make sure that I'm using contrasting colors. Meaning, if I'm filling in my letters with light colors, I'm using dark colors for outlines and shadows. Or if I'm using dark colors to fill in my letters, I use light colors to outline. This will make your design pop. I can give my design a final heat set with a hot blow dryer or an iron. And now I'm ready to add my new painted panel of fabric to the back of my jacket with safety pins. All the power to all the people.